Next question. I run a 5-man team, 2 men down. What does that mean?
He's missing 2 guys.
Oh, it's okay. So 5-man team. So what? It's supposed to be 7. Now it's 5, or it's a 5-man team. Now there's only 3.
We don't know.
We don't know. Well, okay.
Either way, we figure that he's undermanned.
Sure.
We know that much.
Sure. Okay. Undermanned team. 5-man team, 2 men down. I'm not meeting performance expectations. No support coming from my command. Do you see a way out other than just getting after it? I know you also talk about blaming yourself in taking extreme ownership because the people above you may have different information that leads to prioritize different areas. However, when I question things like why we don't have enough people working in different zones when clearly there's an imbalance in zones to the point customers notice or it makes it difficult for colleagues to do their jobs, then I'm deemed argumentative and that I don't have the best intentions. This was with a manager that is in charge of business, and I would think understands my perspective more. We're supposed to have a culture of feedback, but he isn't receptive. I'm not the only one who said that about him as well. This all leads me to think that I must just be fake and go through the motions, but that disgusts me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, what do we do here? How do we take ownership of this? How do you take ownership of your boss not listening to you, not hearing what you're saying? Well, the way you take ownership of that isn't to say my boss doesn't listen and doesn't understand. The way to take ownership of that is to say that I'm not doing a good job of getting my information to my boss. I'm not doing a good job of convincing my boss. I'm not doing a good job of influencing my boss. So you can either be mad about that or you can change your approach. Step 1, we're going back to this again today. Build a relationship with that person. Now, there's a chance that disgusts you. There is, right?
Sure.
I've talked about that before. I've literally said that I had great relationships with people that I had like a visceral hatred for. I still had a good relationship with them and worked very well with them. Okay. If it disgusts you and you can't do that, then there's other jobs, right? Where you don't have to interact with other people. You could be like a long haul truck driver. You can be a technical writer, where you just look at information and turn it into words. You can be a lab technician. We don't have to interact with a lot of different people, and that's cool. There's a lot of jobs out there that require very little human interaction. That's fine. Because if you think you're going to go through life only working with people that you get along with, you're wrong. That's not going to happen. Especially if you want to run teams and you want to lead, and you have to learn how to get over the fact that you might have to work with people that you don't like. And by the way, on top of that, if they know that you don't like them, that is not going to make your job easier, and it's not going to make your life better. In fact, it's going to make your life more miserable. The people that I had visceral hatred for, that I worked for, it wasn't that bad because at least they thought I liked them and I acted like it and they liked me. So it's like, okay, it was a little painful, but you know what? Yeah. It's pretty low impact as opposed to like head-to-head conflict every single day. And by the way, when you have head-to-head conflict every day, you're miserable. You're going to advance slower. You're going to have less control over your fate. You're not going to get promoted, and on top of all that, you're going to get assigned the crappiest possible jobs because your boss doesn't like you and he likes that other guy over there, so he's going to get the easy job. Right? He's going to go save the princess. Jocko, go slay the dragon. Right? Now, of course, we know I prefer to slay the dragon. Never mind the princess. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you want to get along with this person. You want to play the long game. You want to play the long game. And here's the deal. When you play the long game, if the person sucks as bad as you say they do, they'll end up making their own bed and having to lie in it, and they'll end up working for you. Now, also, make sure that you come to the table with solutions, not just complaints and problems, right? You can see that this guy's talking about, we don't have enough guys, and you need to square these zones. Well, what's your solution to the problems?
Yeah.
And what's really smart to do, and you got to be a little bit careful with this, but what can be very smart to do is, if you can solve the problem with your own internal assets, just go and execute on it and solve it. If you use your own internal assets to solve a problem, make the change, make it happen, implement it, and you go to the boss and say, hey, this is what we did. there was this problem on our zones or whatever. We made this adjustment. I took 2 guys from this blah blah blah. I moved them around, and now here's where we're at. We're getting better, results. You have to be careful, because you can say that in such a way that you're throwing it in your boss's face, right? You can absolutely do that. Now, even though you were trying to build a relationship and trying to help the mission, you still end up with an adversarial relationship with your boss, and now things go negative again. So you got to be careful when you do this. You can also just present the idea and present the solution, be like, hey, boss, here's what I want to do. That's once you've got the relationship trust built up. If that doesn't there, then you can't just go present a solution of how you're going to do it, because he's not going to let you do it because he doesn't trust you, because he's got an adversarial relationship with you. You see where this is?
Yeah.
You see how this works?
Yeah.
Another thing he says in here. He says I would think the manager, this was a manager that is in charge of the business, and I would think he understands my perspective more, right? So here we go. If you want to take ownership of things, and you look at your boss and say, he doesn't blame my perspective or doesn't understand my perspective, that's his fault. You know the way I look at that? If you don't understand my perspective as my boss, it's my fault. That means I'm not explaining it to you. It means I'm not giving you enough information. It means I'm not convincing you. It means I'm not building a relationship so that you can see my perspective. That's what that is. So don't blame the boss. Step up your game, build a relationship, teach him the perspective, and win. And I'll tell you one more little thing on this, to get away from the disgust mindset, because I understand that. Yeah. The one good way to get away from the disgust mindset is to get into the game mindset. The game, like this is a game, and this guy that I don't like, I'm going to become best friends with him. Watch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, oh, you don't like this guy? Cool. Watch. Yeah, watch this. That's how it's going to go. And you're going to have fun with it. And you're going to try and win the game. Yeah. Which is good.
Sure. Winning. That understanding perspective, I think that's an almost everyday kind of thing where, okay, so my wife, we're on our way to the park. This is today, by the way. And she's like, she said, there's 2 parks. There's one you can go straight. There's one you can make a right. Then you make another left. There's 2 parks. And I don't know which one we're going to. I don't really mind which one we go to. So she's like, yeah, let's go to the other one. Right. And she mentions I don't know which even one is the other one, but whatever, I'll follow your directions. So she said, okay, she goes, stay in this lane. She doesn't motion though. She goes, stay in this lane. So I'm thinking, okay, we're going to stay in this lane. She goes, okay, turn here. But then, so she's not like pointing like turn here. It's like, cause there's a turn right here. Then there's one like right here, turn here can apply to like a bunch of stuff, but in her mind, it's super clear, So if I would have got mad, or actually I can see how people can get frustrated right there. Right. So if I would have expressed myself, hey, you're not being more clear. Boom. Now we're against each other.
Relationship.
Yeah. Because I didn't, in my mind, I'm like, I can't read your mind. Explain better.
It's funny. Leif's got a funny story. They were on night visions in a Humvee, and he's telling the driver, he's in the vehicle commander seat, which is basically the front passenger seat. Yeah. And he's pointing. He's going, hey, turn here. Yeah. And the guy just like keeps driving, and he goes, bro, what are you doing? And the guy's like, I can't see you, because when you have night vision goggles on, you have no peripheral vision. He's like, I can't see your fingers. And Leif's like, oh, sorry. Because what the proper call is right turn 30 meters, or right turn 500 meters, right turn 100 meters, right turn coming up, right turn, boom. And that way the person can do it. Yeah. But Leif was pointing, but the guy couldn't see it.
Yeah. But there's this...
very similar to your wife who's not pointing.
Yeah, she wasn't pointing at the time. Well, here's the thing too, and this is jamming me up. I'm not gonna take too long on this one, but the way girls
take your time. We're all here.
The way girls, girls take.
Do you remember the last time you talked about you generalized females? Go ahead, at your peril. Go ahead.
No, it wasn't at my peril, because that was the same thing. What? It was the drawing a bike thing. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. It's the same thing, same deal. No one drew a bike. It's completely correct.
No, someone drew you on a tricycle.
On an animated tricycle.
And that was legit.
It was very legitimate.
Give credit.
Separate than the point, but it was good.
There was also some pretty non-working bicycles that were drawn.
Correct. Yeah. And I dig it. And this by no means says, the superiority or inferiority of any of the sexes at all. I'm just saying there's a study done. Girls and guys interpret and give directions in completely different ways because of how their brain formulates directions.
Okay.
So girls kind of require, this is real generally speaking, girls require like
We'll bring
landmarks.
Jordan B. Peterson back on to talk about this.
Okay. I'd ask
to see if you're correct or not.
Yeah. So girls, they prefer like landmarks and, like the voice on the thing. Like she'll be oh, on this one. So they can.
Wait, you mean the Siri voice?
Siri voice, yeah, whatever.
Or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, those
Google
can help
voice.
guys too or whatever. That navigation voice wasn't part of this study. So I shouldn't even mention the voice. But they prefer like landmarks, like make a right
what's interesting?
at the building.
In a jet,
yeah.
when you're flying a jet plane,
Sure.
like an F-18,
Yeah,
which I have done a backseat ride in an F-18 before,
Sure.
but the voice that talks to you is a female voice, and I was told that it's because it relaxes, it gets the attention of, and then kind of relaxes the pilots. So it says like when I was flying, and I don't know, I wasn't like we were gonna die, but at all. Like I'm not trying to say
Sure.
that at all, but
Yeah.
the thing would say warning. It was a girl's voice and would say warning,
Yeah.
altitude.
Yeah.
And so they say it's relaxing a little bit.
Yeah, I could dig it. Typically if my wife is giving me directions, it's not relaxing. I'm not saying it's stressful, but it's not relaxing.
So where were you going with this?
The girls,
which you said was going to be
I'm
short.
just saying it's dangerous to do the directions thing, the navigation thing with your wife or your girlfriend or with a girl. Like if let's say you and a girl in whatever capacity is sitting next to you. And you guys are, how like when we're looking for the hotel, and we were both sort of looking for the hotel, and we're both kind of navigating, and then I failed, and you just jumped, remember that?
Right.
Okay.
And you actually debriefed me.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, when it was time, when I failed at nav, you were just like, I got this.
Yeah.
Here, right turn coming up 500 meters, right turn 200 meters,
Yeah.
right turn 100 meters, right turn. Okay, get in the right-hand lane. And you were just
Right
like,
turn.
cool.
Yeah. Yes. So
makes it easy.
So consider that type of situation before you took over. Consider that situation when we were both trying to navigate.
Mm-hmm.
If you do that with a girl, you are more likely to run into problems because of this. They interpret.
I don't even know what this is anymore.
They interpret and give directions in different ways because their brain works different. They require like landmarks kind of guide them. Like, okay, make a right at this, make a left at this.
Okay.
That helps, sure, but it's more.
What do guys go off of?
They build a map in their head. So if they're like, okay, if they looked at a map, they'd be like, okay, they'd have a better understanding. Okay, so sure, I can make a right at the building or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But when they make a right, they're like, okay, I made that right, so here I am physically oriented, and they kind of make sense of that way more than the girls do. I'm not saying it's like one is black, one is white. I'm just saying one does more of one does more of the other.
Tendency.
Yeah, it's more than tendency because it's how your mind works.
Okay.
This is just I didn't do the study. I
Anyone that wants
it.
to address this with Echo on social media can address it to Echo. I'm out on this.
I will say this, and I'll believe the study. I sure will, because I haven't been.
The other one is if you didn't listen to all the podcasts, Echo also said that girls cannot draw offhand a functional bicycle.
Bicycle, correct.
And he got a lot of attempts.
Yeah.
And he did get one person that put a GIF. It's a GIF, right?
Animated GIF.
An animated GIF of Echo himself riding a tricycle.
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Again, beside the point, but it was very, very awesome. Yes.
I don't even have any idea what the point of anything that we've said in the last few minutes, and I don't even want you to try and explain.
We're talking about miscommunication. Like, I can't read your mind. You got to communicate, like,
Right.
You don't understand my perspective. You're supposed to understand, kind of thing,
Got
and you
it.
run into that.
Yes.
True. It's true, man. So you got to be clear, is what I'm saying. Like how you were when we were finding that steak place or the hotel or whatever.
Yes, we were. That was a good steak, by the way.
Yes.